So we're going to go first to Colorado to Scott Garber.
Oh man, ELATIA, well, first off, this is such a mind-bending conversation. I love the way that you have the ability to sort of see this futuristic mindset of like where we're going. And I've been very curious about this myself. And so my question is, when you look at the infrastructure of where we're at, married with the cycles of technology and how they're expediting, how do you start to bridge that chasm so that we can all sort of elevate to this plane of what the futuristic work world looks like? Because I think, like Neil Postman talks about these different cycles and they're condensing, but we're finding this big gap in just even bandwidth, right? So I'm really curious your thought of how do you level that playing field to go ahead and create a working environment there?
Yeah. So I think first and foremost, so if we walk away from this conversation with zero other ideas, it's the notion that brain health, if you're running HR, if you're running a company, brain health is first and foremost the most important thing. And you'll notice that I don't say mental health only, I say brain health, because our ability to expand our ability, our cognition, our ability to dance with uncertainty becomes first and foremost, because that degree of uncertainty is going to change. And because the actual chemical processes that go on in our body when we're dealing with uncertainty, which is cortisol, it's adrenaline, it's fight or flight, we need to learn how to control that. So brain health first and foremost. And frankly, if your organization is melting down and the people in your company are melting down, your company is not going to be successful. So this becomes a strategic imperative, number one. Then secondly, when we're looking at how the world is shifting. So if we can understand, even at a baseline, basic kind of feeling level, how the world is shifting. So what does it mean that the world is going from linear to exponential, from scarcity to abundance, from or to and? We can understand the future dynamics. So as I mentioned earlier, the metaverse, its future characteristics will be virtual avatars. We interact in these spaces. What about that could we translate to an analog world so that when the technology comes online, we're actually aligned with it and already moving toward it, even if it doesn't exist today?
Yeah, it makes total sense. I'd love to have a conversation offline. I mean, there's just so many layers to this, right? And I think what the inclusive side of it is really what I'm trying to understand, because there is such a gap between the folks. It's not even the folks that have access. It's just the bandwidth that allows access. And so how do we learn from the cycles that we've had before so we don't make the same mistakes regardless of the environment in which we're creating, whether that's in an analog or digital space? And so but really appreciate your thoughts and time today.
Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you.